Hello, hello, world. Hello, world, and welcome to my world. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see if it's starting here. Oh, there we go. Gotta just get myself organized. How is everybody? Can you guys see me okay? Okay, awesome. Hi, Stephanie Stevens. You're mopping the floor. That sounds like me. Uh, I've been obsessively cleaning, right? Like obsessively cleaning. And yes, sweep the floor every day, dust every day. Um, it's exhausting, you know. Getting up at 3:30, 4 in the morning every day, passing out and taking a nap sometime a few hours later. I don't know. I always wake up at around 3:30. You know, I don't sleep through the night. Of course, lately, I've been getting old people habits, but it's not bad. I kind of like it. Like falling asleep around 8, 9 o'clock. I'm like, I'm crashing. And then waking up before 5 a.m. usually, and wanting to get up and eat something. You ever get hungry, wake up at 2, 3 in the morning and you want a turkey burger? For those of you who eat meat. It's great. You buy some ground turkey and you add some garlic and some onion powder, salt and pepper, paprika, oregano, thyme. You mish it all together and then you fry up 2 ounce patties and then you put them in Tupperware. And then you have those on hand for low fat protein. Let's face facts. We're sick of chicken, right? Chicken is like too much chicken. I can't do chicken anymore. I'm done with chicken. I've done too much of it. But it's nice. You have these little mini turkey burgers that are 2 ounces. And yeah, you can have those with crackers and some vegetables. And then it's a nice protein snack, but you're not doing too much animal protein. If you do them in, like, if you have a pound and I don't know how many ounces that is. That 16 ounces, and then you make 6 mini burgers or whatever that are 6 to 3 ounces each. It's good. It's good to have them in the refrigerator, and they taste good hot or cold. And then when you get cravings and you wake up at 3:30 in the morning from your first sleep and you're cleaning the house and doing mantras and you need to put something in your system. I guess there's a vegan equivalent of that. I don't like sloppy wet food. I like dry stuff. You can, like, crackers and that sort of thing. Yes. Oh, that's nice. Ramen noodles with egg, veggies on a cold morning. That sounds delicious. Well, anyway, let me go ahead and turn the camera around and say hi to all of you. We are, yeah, we're just covering hot topics, whatever you guys want to cover that didn't get covered in the week. We do some blitzes. Hi, Stephanie Stevens, Joel Tilson, our floor director, is in the house. The GOP reckoning is coming. Yes, unfortunately, the GOP wants to see the fall of Trump. Many are working to see the fall of Trump. So it's like the Civil War that should have happened but didn't. Elon Musk, yes, if he goes to countries that are, uh, uh, if Elon Musk goes to a country that has an arrest warrant out for him, like France, if France issues an arrest warrant, then theoretically he could be arrested if he enters those countries, just as uh, what was it, Pavlov Durat, is that how you say his name? Durov was arrested. And it goes back to this conversation we had where fraud and corruption is taking place on social media, Facebook, uh, Instagram, etc. And if you want them to police criminals, they accuse you of being anti-free speech. So it's the ultimate gaslighting. You have to be defrauded and a victim of criminal because a criminal activity. And if you don't agree to this, you're anti. As if letting people sell child pornography and crypto scams somehow has something to do with free speech. Of course, it has nothing to do with free speech. It has to do with letting the criminals run amok. And then the next question you have to ask yourself is, well, why would they let the criminals run amok? Are they the secret owners of these call centers? Do they have a deal with these call centers? Are they taking a cut? You look at somebody like Elon Musk, who, by his own admission, Tesla was going down. He had to take all of his money and put it into Tesla, or Tesla was going to go under. So by his own admission, he was in serious financial trouble more than once. And then the next question is, well, was he taking money from questionable sources? And the answer, based on the remote information I've been able to get, is yes, that is precisely what happened to Elon Musk. Strictly for entertainment purposes, I am a performance artist, and nothing I say should be in any way taken seriously because this is all comedy. Right? I mean, what proof have I ever given that any of this is based on anything real? You know what I mean? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The point is this. That's how he got involved with, he needed money. He needed money quick. For whatever reason, he didn't get it through the regular means. And he decided with his brains, he was going to do smart things, get the money in smart ways, under a lot of pressure, right? To come up with large amounts of money to save Tesla and some of his other projects. So what do? You start hunting for money sources. You start looking for ways to come up with large amounts of money. So shorting crypto, conning people into investing in doggy coin, pump and dump, right? You spread a fake rumor so everybody pumps their money into doggy coin. And then when it's starting to go high, you pull your initial investment, and then you get the money, and then they all go broke. Dodgy coin, doggy. And then what do you do with all that money that you've just made from shorting dodgy? You transfer it into you buy Bitcoin. So you pump and dump the dodgy. Oh, whimsy! You didn't access information. Did I? Or is it just pretend? But theoretically, you would be pumping and dumping crappy coins and then taking the profits theoretically and buying Bitcoin. And then theoretically, you would have 1/3 of the world's Bitcoin. Which leads you to wonder just how closely is he connected to, what is the guy's name? Satoshi, the founder of Bitcoin. That's a mysterious person that no one knows where they came from, or just how close is he to Santoshi, or whatever the name of that individual was. Now we have, this is what I saw, this is what I delivered. Then I wanted to give him the benefit of doubt. No, maybe it's just that he doesn't want to hire people, even though the evidence seems to be suggesting from the remotes that that's exactly what's going on. He's been shorting crypto and is in on the scam, right? So now we have Now we have Pavel Durov arrested and charged for the very same things that I had suspected that Musk was facing prosecution for. So we could look to see, excuse me, if he's going to be prosecuted. Yeah, I think he's going to be prosecuted. I think it's disgusting that in the United States, it's not as easy to go after criminals as it is in other countries. Uh, the way in which we protect our wealthy criminals. They're criminals. They became wealthy by being criminals. The rest of us are not criminals. That's why we're not billionaires, because we are not defrauding people. We're not running massive crypto scams. All the ways in which criminals get money from other people, usually vulnerable people, right? Honeypots, etc. Looks like further news, many oil refineries destroyed in Russia. They, excuse me, they continue to advance, headed towards Moscow. And now they have short and long range missiles. Ukraine has where they will be able to basically bomb Moscow, probably, I'm assuming, in less than a week. Anybody surprised about that? Probably not. Oh, Jess Jolly is down under. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na, where women blow and men thunder. Yes, love that song. Hi, Wendy Bird. Hope your house is getting fixed up real nice. Hi, Evelyn from Mexico. Wow, you guys are all from all over the world today. Yes, it's a shame because Musk was not all bad. He started off as a Democrat and then he got into prescription drugs, got into financial trouble, went crazy. Maybe it's genetic. I don't know. Flee where? Where can Musk flee to? United Arab Emirates, possibly, which I think is a heavy investor. United Arab Emirates was also a heavy investor in Telegram. And he's the same guy who got accused of beating and trying to kill his own daughter. Al-Said, what is his name? He's also the guy that's friends of Johnny Depp and was meeting with Johnny Depp on a private yacht. He was pissed at his own wife and he wanted to help Johnny Depp with a good old-fashioned lawsuit to terrorize Amber Heard for committing the crime of leaving him. Yes, they were all in it together. It's just a lovely group of awful people that hate women. That seems to be what they all have in common, right? Elon Musk, Johnny Depp, and the guy out of United Arab Emirates, the sheik. They all hate women, want to destroy women, breed women like rabbits, right? This truly the bottom of the barrel. We're at a point now in world history where we have to choose. Are we going to continue to let the anti-woman jerks take over the world? What's scary about people like Andrew Tate is that he'll say something. He said something like, women after 30 should just die because what use are they? After 30, they should just die unless they're a breeder. Unless you're breeding them, they can die at 30. He actually said this. They're to be bred, and if you can't breed them by 30, just kill them. He had 60,000 likes on a comment like that. You start to realize just how many men truly hate women to the point of wanting to rape, destroy, etc. And so we're at a point now where the people who are out of control are needing to be controlled. We have a lot of women dying and facing serious medical problems now in Texas because they want to breed them, right? And even women with ectopic pregnancies can't get medical attention in Texas. They're being told to let nature take its course. Well, nature taking its course means that your fallopian tube will burst and you'll bleed to death. Not that they care, because they hate women. And let's face facts. They've basically said you can die at 30 if you're not going to be used by us. This is basically the mentality we see in countries like China and India, where we have millions and millions of female babies missing simply because they're female. eradicating females from the earth, seeing them as toys and playthings and objects for the pleasure and service of men. And if they aren't pleasuring men, they are to be exterminated. And they will openly say that. And these are also the people that are voting for Donald Trump. So you have to ask yourself, how broken are we that people see that a man who's been found liable on rape, accused of child rape, and say, yeah, I'll vote for him. What does that say about the mental health of men in this country, the mental health of men all over the world, that this somehow seems normal, or that they don't expect women to fight back? And of course, we will fight back. Hi, Rich. Thank you so much for being a member. And getting upset when we who are not insane simply comment and say, this is who you are, this is what you said, this is what you believe. And, it's amazing. You look at Fox and Friends and you hear what some of the GOP say about women. And it's sexism, it's a misogynism that is so entrenched, they need serious psychiatric help. I mean, that's the only thing because these folks need serious psychiatric help. They certainly don't need to be running for office, right? We have a long way still to go when it comes to women's rights, right? It's very unfortunate. Oh, hi, Teresa. Good to see you here. All right, let's go ahead and do on that happy note. We're winning. They're dinosaurs. They're just screaming because the asteroid is coming, right? No, the asteroid is the screaming reptiles, the reptilians. Yes, we're not talking about all men. We're talking about the reptilians, right? There's a war going on, right? And so, yeah, Roger Ailes, you have to be a polite fascist, right? If you're going to be a fascist, you've got to be subtle about your fascism. And unfortunately, Roger Ailes and many of the people at Fox News, Sean Hannity, who was the one guy that got kicked out recently, Tucker Carlson, he was not a polite fascist. If he had been a polite fascist, he didn't have to stop being a fascist on Fox News. He just had to be a polite fascist. Yes. But Fox is changing. It's evolving. They're bringing on more Democrats. They're bringing on more debate. And they're moving towards independence. They're trying to attract more of the independent voter. And I think that that's a healthy transition we're starting to see at Fox. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's do the Empaths prayer now that I've gotten you all pissed off. Okay. If you would like us to pray for you, if you have a healing that you would like to receive, please let us know your name. If there's someone else that you care about that you would like us to pray for, please give us the name, and we will include them in the community prayers. I also want to announce before we give our community prayers today, yes, I'm leaving on Monday night, but I am taking patients tomorrow, Friday. I have tarot readings open for tomorrow, and I do have some Monday morning. I think I have 1 or 2 openings Monday morning if you need to see me. I wanted to take a quick announcement that we have a new novel for the months of September and October. She gets a full 6 weeks, Judy Ann Jamerson. Excuse me, because I will be out of the country for a part of September. So the book is about Belle. Love that. I love that image. And it's the Judy Ann Jamerson book. And she autographed it for me. Very cool. Even through her sadness, she was feisty and proud. Wielding a humorous character, she was one to reckon with when encountered. And whenever she graced the crowd with her undeniable presence, it was a hoot, Through this book is not an accurate depiction, though this book is not an accurate depiction of her, she was my inspiration. I knew back then that I would write a book with her in my heart someday. Yeah, so yeah, I look forward to reading this book. I always love to read books about strong women. If you have written a book, if you are an author and you would like us to consider your book for Taco Tuesday's Book of the Month Club, please send your book to 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon, 97201. And of course, that's care of drwhimsyanderson.com. All right, so please let us know if we can pray for you or someone you care about, and we can do the Empaths prayer. Hello, Mila. Would you like to join us for the Empaths prayer? No? You gonna come up here? You coming? You wanna come up? No? You wanna come say hi to everybody? Coming? Well, okay. All right, so we have some people requesting healing. Ray S., Quinn to heal her anxiety, Betsy Lurie, and of course, Harris. Okay. And Rich, prayer for current health issues. Yes, of course, we will include everyone in our prayers. All right, let's get started. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. May all souls be healed. Thank you. All right, let's do some blitzes. Let's do some blitzes. Prayers are sent to all of you. May all be healed. All right, let's see what the questions are. Betsy Lurie, okay, yeah, got those good prayers coming in. So it looks like we've already got a couple of comments coming in from our floor director. The first had to do with the GOP reckoning. As I had mentioned, we probably that this would end in civil war, that they would have to inevitably cut the head off the beast. And that's because the Trump train is a train wreck, and it's not sustainable as a philosophy. If you think about what was propping up Trump, which was just be mean to people, be mean to anyone that criticizes Trump, it's not really a sustainable movement. It inevitably, if you follow the trajectory, it cancels itself out. It simply cannot sustain itself. But let's see, take a look at the GOP Civil War. I'm using the Universal Rider-Waite just because it's the most recognizable. Friday at 6 p.m. is our last class. It's class 10 for learning the mystical tarot. And I hope you'll join us if you are an elder and an empath. Yeah. Might open it up for fairies and angels if you guys want to show up and hang with us. The GOP reckoning. She rubs her lamp and dreams. So there's positive and negative aspects to the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups, is like my Princess Diana card. I think other Lena Rodriguez says that too. Princess Diana, it was a blonde. She was a Cancerian. It's that beautiful, loving energy. A very compassionate, good with children. Now the dark aspects, because every card has a dark aspect. The Queen of Cups can be delusional. She lives in her cups. She rubs her lamp and dreams. So it could be indicating that there is a delusion, a delusional aspect to, the other thing is take your medicine. When you're delusional, when you're crazy, you need to take your psych meds. That's the joke, is that many of them are on prescription drugs a lot. When they exposed the doctor, what was his name, Ronnie Jackson, for being the candy man, handing out pills at the White House to anybody who wanted them. And so because he handed out drugs to everybody, he was going to be made the head of the Veterans Affairs, right? So you have possibly a delusion, or rubbing their lamp, or being off in a delusion. And then the opposition is Archangel Raphael, who comes in and attempts to heal or give medicine. So from a spiritual perspective, when you look at the crisis that's happening in politics today and the crisis of the Republican Party, you could argue that what the cards are saying is that it is a sign of sickness, mental sickness, and that their opposition is their own. They are resisting their own recovery. It goes back to the fact that we're in 3D, and then Death Realm is 4D, and then 5D is when we have to accept that everything is a matrix. None of it is real. Aliens are coming in through portals. We now have people sitting in, I'm the most skeptical person in the world, but I'm a scientist. You now have members with high security clearance saying they're coming in through portals from another dimension, right? So our entire reality of what we think is real is not real. And not everybody can handle that. Not everybody can handle this huge awakening that's happening. And then they begin to attack us. Well, you're woke. Well, I'm trying to be. I'm trying to come to terms with the fact that this entire thing is a propped up matrix that could be, the curtain's going to come down, and then what the hell is this, right? But that appears to be what the physicists out of the Pentagon are telling us. And furthermore, in a parallel universe next to us, there are all kinds of things going on in other realms right next to us, and this entire thing is just a curtain that's going to come closing down, right? So you have this delusion, this aspect of the GOP where they are literally rubbing their lamp and living in a delusion, and then their opposition is the antidote. Now, this brings me to a story that I would like to share with you. It's a Buddhist story about delusion, and when somebody gets deluded because of their belief systems. But there's the story that the Buddha, the analogy is a great physician. There was once a great physician who had many, many children. And the physician had to go away for a while. Maybe he was off on business. Maybe he was like Dr. Whimsy. He kept winding up on a trip somewhere, right? And while the physician was away, his millions of children began to play in his medicinary. And they started mixing the medicines, kind of like the GOP mixing the medicines of Ronnie Jackson at the White House. And as a result of taking these medicines, the doctor's children became insane, and they began to enter into a realm of delusion. And then they began to be addicted to the delusion. They liked the feeling of the delusion. We talked about Putin and the fact that when I've gone in and remote viewed Putin, I saw Prigozhin as his supplier, supplying his catering, supplying this. Why did Prigozhin have all this power? Because Prigozhin was his candy man. And Prigozhin was giving him IV injections of methamphetamines, the cleanest, purest stuff. And he trusted Prigozhin. He trusted Prigozhin to give him a clean injection, keep his mouth shut about his little problem, that this guy is a methamphetamine addict. Paranoid that he was going to get poisoned. But he trusted Prigozhin. You're the one guy I will let shoot me up. I know the stuff you're giving me is pure, and I know I can trust you, right? He wouldn't trust everyone to shoot him up. So what happens is they not only become delusional but they love the feeling of the delusion. And so you wind up in a situation where I'm looking for my man, and the man might be Ronnie Jackson, and there's going to be all kinds of kickbacks if you continue to give me the drugs I want. Well, eventually the physician returns home and he sees that all of his children are completely delusional. Like Abraham Lincoln, what the hell did you do to my party, right? What the hell did you do to my party? Right? The physician comes back and he sees that the children are completely out of their minds and they've been mixing the drugs. And so the doctor understands the problem and he creates the antidote. And he says, okay, kids, you've gone a little crazy. You took the wrong medicines, you mixed them, but it's okay. I'm your father. I'm a good doctor. Here's the antidote. Now, here's what happened when the Buddha, the doctor, said this to the people, to the children. 1/3 recognized that it was their father, and they took the antidote, and their minds were cleared, right? They got to 5D. Whoa, okay, it's all Maya. It's all an illusion. Okay, it's up to me. I got to clear my head. I got to keep my house clean, etc., right? Starting with my political party, right? So 1/3 took the medicine and they were healed. 1/3 was on the fence. Should I take the medicine? Should I not take the medicine? I don't know if I can trust this guy. I don't know. I don't know who you are. I'm your father. And I'm telling you, you've gone crazy and you need to take the medicine because you're off in a delusion, rubbing your lamp. Take the medicine. Take the medicine. I don't know. So you've got 1/3 that takes the medicine and is healed, 1/3 that's sitting on the fence and doesn't know if they can trust him. And then the other third believes that the physician is evil and insane and must be destroyed. So what you're looking at right now is the Maya or the delusion of the Republican Party. And that is pretty much how it breaks down. We have the antidote, the facts. You're drug addicts, seniors who have become addicted to prescription drugs, doctors enabling them, megalomaniacs on amphetamines, some of them with head injuries, right? Like Elon Musk, right? Head injury and he's on prescription drugs, ketamine, Ambien, alcohol, and anything else probably he can get a hold of. So they're drug addicts. And that's the Republican Party. 1/3 is not crazy, and they snap out of it. And people like Conway, right? You people are nuts. This is not my political party. This has nothing to do with the party of Lincoln. I'm out of here, right? 1/3 gets it. And then 1/3 is on the fence. Do I vote for this lunatic again? I don't know. He seems, I don't know if I can, I don't know how I feel there. I'm beginning to question Donald Trump, right? You have a third that's kind of on the fence, the independents, the people that are sliding away from the GOP. And then you have the third that are willing to destroy anybody who has a problem with Donald Trump. Right? So that's basically what we see, the delusion that refuses to, the deluded party that the opposition is the antidote. So the hardline Republicans, excuse me, question us. They question reality. It is going to be a very hard road for the Republicans to come back. Hopes and fears, the heavy load as they return home. It's the amount of damage. It's not just damage. He has taken a considerable amount of money from the GOP. And when this nightmare called Trump comes to an end and the delusion ends, they will be stuck picking up the pieces. The final outcome for the Republican Party is infighting. Mainly because the money is gone. I keep going into this. Where the hell is the money? Where are the servers? They took over the Republican Party. They took over the computer servers. They took the money. They're fighting. Where is the accountability? Over the party itself. The Queen of Cups represents the GOP itself. A new contract, evidence. Also in a case of crime, Three of Pentacles is evidence presented. It's the blueprint. The opposition is the antidote. The Archangel Raphael gets their wish, which means that the Republican Party of Donald Trump is going to get dissolved. And you have this new contract coming in. By the way, that's a 3-week period. If many of you I know read Pentacles as weeks, I get that. So you could argue that within 3 weeks, we're looking at a new contract and we're looking at the antidote. And I don't know what that's about, but let's go ahead, stick a pin in it, as Rachel Maddow would say. So we're talking about around September 18th, give or take, major things coming out. There are strong people with a backbone that love the party of Lincoln and its history, and they will come back and they will heal it. Look, heavy work lay ahead, strong people. Regarding the conflicts that are happening currently in the Republican Party, Gaia wins. The new green economy, Mother Maya, right? It's okay to make money saving the world. It's okay to make a profit if the nature of your business is such that it is, the more you love the earth, the more she produces. But the Empress is Gaia. And it's a positive card. It often has to do with fertility, abundance, and a healing of the earth. You can see the female symbol. I would argue that they're going green, that they've come out of the crazy, and that we will see a major. I think it's going to be less than. I think it's going to be less than 3 weeks. I'm getting a hit that it's 2 weeks. I'll go ahead and give you the date because I am a remote viewer. I can give you guys dates. You know I do that for you. I try to be as accurate as I can, so that we can see the science of remote viewing, that this is a science, that this is a part of your brain that you can access. And we're using HCRB quick technique, and you can use the cards with quick technique. They just trigger your high. You're using your frontal lobe, your higher brain, which is associated with the 7th chakra, to objectively look at things rationally, and you're just using the cards as triggers. That's HCRB quick technique. You don't have to use cards. You can use whatever system you like. So we're looking at changes happening, major changes in the GOP, where the Trump train will collapse between September 12th and September 18th, if you want to go ahead and document that. Okay. Well, that makes you happy. Oh, hi, Heidi. Thank you so much for that donation. Much appreciated. Oh, Lord Robert Fellows, brother-in-law of Diana, uncle of Harry and William, passed. Harry is in England for the funeral without Meghan. Yeah, it's not good for Meghan's health to be there. And that's also coming from her therapist, because she was suicidal, etc., from the harassment, which was engineered by William. But Charles sincerely fears that he will die without seeing his grandkids. So when I go into the energy of King Charles, he desperately worries about not seeing his grandkids. I had a dream where Charles was not feeling too close to Camilla, and that when he dies and goes to heaven, he goes back to Diana. He leaves Camilla and he goes back to Diana, which made me think that in some ways Diana was a higher soulmate than Camilla, that Camilla was lust and passion, and it was a lusty relationship, but it was not the pure love that Diana gave him, which was she was truly in love. She was head over heels in love with her husband, and she had a very pure, innocent love of him. And so I believe, based on the dream I had, that when he passes, he returns back to this great love. He could never return the love that Diana gave him because he was too wounded. And instead, he just was in this lusty affair that he confused with love. And as he's become older and he's put the lust behind him, he started to look at Camilla very differently, like, you're a very manipulative, horrible person. And I'm horrible for playing along with it. And his connection with Diana is actually very deep because she gave him 2 children. And she just wanted to love him and be loved by him. She didn't care. She was not a materialistic person. I mean, her serious relationship after that was a cardiac surgeon that was not making much money. I mean, he had I think it was a 1-bedroom or a studio in Chelsea, and in a predominantly Pakistani neighborhood, and they were, she was cooking for her boyfriend, and she was a nanny. She wanted to be a simple country girl. She was a country girl. That was Diana. And she said that she was a country girl. Nature and having a guinea pig when she was a kid, and cooking for the kids. So I think that as Charles has matured, he's seen more of that. He has that awareness. Yeah. Yes, he goes back to her in heaven. The dream was that I went to a mansion, and I was invited into the mansion, and Charles wanted to divorce Camilla, and he immediately divorced her, and then he walked up to the bedroom chamber of the mansion, the private chambers of the castle, and and took a left. And so I'm assuming, I don't know which castle this is, but I got to see the layout. And when he went to the left, there was the private chambers of him and Diana, and he went up to be with Diana. And as soon as he got to the private chambers, it was a wedding ceremony, and they remarried, and he recommitted to her. And that could be as he evolves spiritually and passes to the next dimension, transitions, he goes back to that pure love that he had with Diana. But he was mentally screwed up, He had all kinds of issues, and oh, Wendy, you got a surprise for me, and you're an artist. Oh, do tell. Well, it's a secret, but I pray that you continue to be a great artist, Wendy. I bet you are a great artist. There's a couple of questions about Elon Musk fleeing and the issues that came up with the guy from Telegraph. Let me just see what's going to happen with Elon Musk. Yeah, he was hard up for cash. You know, don't borrow money and don't get involved in crypto scams and if you're hard up for money, own it. Don't go, don't break the damn law. Will Musk flee? I don't know. He feels like Texas will protect him, right? He's in a strong position. He's one of the richest people alive. His opposition takes to smoother waters. His hope is fear, the Justice Department. There's a fight going on. Not everyone is sure whether or not to charge him or how to charge him. So it's a conflict right now. They want to get access to his personal business. The legacy and the dark aspects of the legacy are what? Dirty family secrets. We inherit the good and the bad to the 10th generation, right? Meaning that it's very hard if you come from a dysfunctional family to not carry it on to the next generation. It's very hard to work these things out. Family secrets, dark aspects. So they want to get information about his legacy, his dark secrets. Opposition is Empress and Six of Swords. Again, this strong female energy, Gaia, fertility, comes in. Over the issue of the Justice Department, he could be able to work out a deal. He gets his wish with the Justice Department. There's a huge conflict over him. He cooperates with the Justice Department probably in the next 2 months to avoid criminal prosecution, probably because he's done so many good things for the United States in terms of Starlink and what is it? He 45,000 people employed or something. I mean, so and then Starlink was used for the war. It's vital to the military, etc. There appears to be some deal he makes where he's not so much found guilty so much as he simply has to clean up his act a little bit. He may be able to avoid jail. There's a lot of stuff he doesn't want to share or give them access to. They already have the access with a treasure trove in the opposition. He gets his wish with the Justice Department, and you can see a strong partnership emerges. I think that he could avoid prosecution. Yeah. I have said in my tweets, go to Harris. Stop fighting with Harris. I think that's probably what's going to happen. He's going to have to make a deal with Harris, and for that reason, I think if he makes a deal with Harris and his companies to be more transparent, which is something he doesn't want, he could be penalized but avoid actual prison. Yeah. Oh, yes. The Arlington, what were they, beating people up or something? What is that? You can't go to Arlington and start beating people up. That's just absolutely crazy. Let's see if there's consequences for Donald Trump showing up at Arlington, taking pictures when he wasn't supposed to, and all that other crazy stuff. Oh my gosh. Arlington wants him permanently banned from, he can't enter, they want him to be banned from Arlington. And they have their own police or something, or their own security, and they want to charge him, but he could be permanently denied access to Arlington. You can see the seducer. Opposition was sobriety, hopes and fears, Seven of Wands. He took control of the land. Look at this, the police, Knight of Swords, raid police. They want him prosecuted. They also want the people involved to be, yes, here it is, the Justice Department over him. His opposition, over temperance. I feel like the reason he's slurring his words and doesn't want to go out was because of the performance issue we had talked about with Donald Trump. When I put myself in the shoes of being a handler for Donald Trump, I am a remote viewer who uses a technique which comes from Vajrayana Buddhism, right? And in Vajrayana, we attempt to become a bodhicitta, which is to encompass the other and be so much so that we truly know what it is. I know, I see through the eyes of Putin. I am that, right? So when I speak about I'm not talking about the personality whimsy. I'm talking about the identity that I'm channeling at that time. The person can be dead or alive. You don't have to wait till they're dead to be a channeler and to access their personality. So when I put myself in the shoes of Donald Trump, I'm on muscle relaxants, and anti-anxiety medications were increased after the attempted assassination. It was not planned. I think that that's a silly theory. I think that more than likely we're looking at civil war in the GOP. There's a civil war going on in the GOP, and people are attempting to cut the head off the beast. And instead of viewing it as this great miracle that he survived, another way that I would view it as a remote viewer, I attempt to simply look at a scene objectively without the emotions of other and say, what happened objectively? And what happened objectively is that there are Republicans that want to kill this guy. And that's the objective truth. There are Republicans that hate him to the point that they want to assassinate him. The bigger picture is not that he survived, which thank God he did. I mean, nobody wants him assassinated. The bigger picture is that there are Republicans trying to assassinate him. So then I put myself in the shoes of being his coach. How you doing, Chief? Can I get you back out there? Do you need to talk about it? Just like when a soldier goes to war and he gets an attempted assassin, he winds up traumatized because he saw some bad stuff. We need to debrief and make sure that he's okay, because he may have to go back to Fallujah. You saw some stuff out there. You want to talk about it? This soldier's been wounded. I got to check and see, can I get him back out there on the stage? How, we can put him in a big glass box. So this is never going to happen again. But meanwhile, what's happening psychologically? Now they want to get you out there as fast as possible. 4 days later, he's out in a crowd, right? So you might be fine the first couple of days. But the problem with post-traumatic stress disorder is that it may hit you a few weeks later, because human beings go through a honeymoon period after a trauma. And that's denial. It's a psychological phenomenon. Come on, where you simply have not processed what happened to you. And that's what happened to Donald Trump. You go through denial, then you go through fear, right? You start becoming terrified to the point where you're afraid to go out there. So they now have a problem of performance with him. That is what I saw. So they put him in a glass. He goes to the doctor. The doctor gives him benzos, muscle relaxants. He starts slurring his words and making fun of him being Daffy Duck. No, this guy is having performance anxiety. This guy is having serious problems. He had a drug problem prior. He was on Ambien before. Ambien to go to sleep, right? Because you're pumped up from the amphetamines. If you're taking Adderall or some other amphetamine, the problem is it keeps you up and then you can't go to sleep, and you got to get to sleep. So what do? You pump an Ambien. Then you wind up with like Tiger Woods, where you are asleep and you're sleepwalking. He tried to fly with his car because he was in a dream, and he wound up flying his car into a ravine because he was still on the Ambien. Ambien is a very dangerous drug. Elon Musk was on Ambien, having an erotic dream. He tried to grope one of the flight attendants, right? His brother Kimball was on Ambien and proposed marriage asleep. The woman, his wife, was talking to him for 4 hours planning the wedding. Kimball's very sweet. And Kimball was completely asleep the entire time. Oh, and you know what dress I want you to wear? And you know where I'd like the wedding to be? And she thought she was having a sane, rational conversation with Kimball. Meanwhile, the next morning he wakes up, he has no memory of them planning their wedding or the fact that he had proposed. He really did plan on, he really did feel that way, but he had no memory because he was on Ambien. So you have this sobriety issue coming up. And I think for Trump, he increased his prescription drugs. You can give them Xanax, Klonopin, benzos, which will cause you to have slurring like alcohol. Benzos are going to give you the closest sensation of being on alcohol. You may slur your words, etc. So I think that also comes up a little bit here with Trump. And then this defensiveness or fear of territory. I just don't think he's going to be allowed back. This is legal action. This is legal action. So yes, they're very strict about rules at Arlington. And if somebody in his team accosted somebody else, they could be charged and will likely be permanently banned from Arlington. That's what it looks like. Ooh, surprise is going to be magnificent. Ooh. Well, I know some of you are amazing artists because I've received some incredible paintings from some amazing people. And I do love them. Of course, our very own Chuck Dransfield is an amazing artist. But there have been many others as well. And we do love those beautiful art pieces that we get. Yeah, so we talked also about the fact that everything is energy, and that there is this idea in Hinduism that God consciousness has a yin and a yang, which is Krishna and Shiva, right? Similar to the Hebrew story of the soul of man being divided into Adam and Eve, right? But in terms of consciousness, it's yin and yang, it's Shiva and Krishna. And then Shiva, the feminine divine, evolves as needed, but into Durga, and then, caring for all of her children, Durga. And then when it's necessary for Durga to fight back from the parasites that are threatening her, she's transformed into Kali. And Kali comes out and destroys. And so we are in the time of Kali. But after the time of Kali, after we have fought back and beaten the demons, then we enter the time of Kamala. So Kali, historically, which is the time we are in right now, I'll show you a picture of her. She comes in to fight the demons when there are no boundaries. Kali Ma. And she's not too happy with humanity. Though I have to say this looks a little bit like Sgt. Pepper's John Lennon over here. I don't know. But this would be the classic image of Kali, right? She sticks out her red tongue. She, her neck, the blood garlands. That's kind of how she's depicted historically. A hand going up, boundaries, right? Death, right? And you can see stomping on the perpetrator, right? it's not fun to be in this time, right? It's not a fun thing for us to be channeling it. You saw how angry I was a couple months ago. I also had COVID, so I was like in a full-blown Kali mode, right? But I was feeling this, the universal rage of the divine feminine. But if it doesn't come in, the divine feminine will not survive. So the divine feminine, love is liberation, right? It's also the means of authenticity. I'm not your toy. I'm not your plaything. I'm a freaking human being. You will acknowledge my humanity, right? These are all the things we learn from Kali. It's a necessary part of our spiritual evolution. And then comes the calm afterwards. And the calm is Kamala, right? The goddess Kamala. And the goddess Kamala brings compassion, kindness, and healing to the world. And we'll show her that image, which is a more balanced image, right? We want the time of Kamala. And the great irony is that, in fact, the person that we are voting for is named Kamala. So Durga goes from being Kali to Kamala. And you can see all these beautiful environmental images. She is good for the earth. She is good for the earth. She brings healing after the destruction. Comes the celebration. Her colors, if you want to worship her, are pink and green, and those are the colors of the pink lotus. The hand is about boundaries. I come to you with compassion, but I also know how to say no. So you have that, always have the hand of boundaries. Blessings and boundaries. Some of these are just beautiful, beautiful images of Kali. I love that beautiful pink and green combination. I really love the combination of pink and green. I think that's definitely my favorite combo. And you definitely see that in the images of Kali with the pink lotus. So that is that. Oh, Harris or Doyle, they might be cousins. Okay. All right. Looking for some cousins out there. All right. People want to talk a little bit about royal news. We can do that. People want to know about Harry visiting the UK. What is going on with that? Let's take a look. I'm sorry that her brother passed. Was it her brother or her brother-in-law? I think it's her brother-in-law, right? Let's take a look. How is Harry's visit to the funeral? Lord Fellows. Robert Fellows would be a brother-in-law because her brother is Charles Spencer, I believe. Robert Fellows. It's her sister's husband. A new beginning in Britain. So many people are dying and passing away. There's a feeling of just new beginnings. The opposition is 5 of Swords. I just feel that at the time, we're moving towards the time of Kamala, and it's affecting everything. Ace of Cups. And the final outcome for Harry, a judgment is coming. It's also death and rebirth. There's good stars over Harry. and a new beginning for him. His opposition, the family inheritance, they want to disarm him or take away his ability to hurt them. Five of Swords and Ten of Pentacles, again, is the family legacy, but also dark aspects would be dirty family secrets. The hope and fear, the new contract. So I think that they want to completely strip him of all titles, etc. And there could be something about taking away titles because of wanting to protect the legacy and protect themselves from him. There's a feeling like they have to protect themselves because they see him as such a threat to the family. Yeah, very interesting. But he has good stars over him, so he's starting to get allies also in Britain. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Well, not everybody buys into the fact that he's a terrible person, right? Just because, he came out and said, "You're trying to kill my wife," because they were. Let's see here. Will Donald Trump show up for the debate? When is the debate? On this 10th or something? I don't think there's be a point. He is on a lot of prescription drugs for anxiety. He has a fear of being assassinated again, attempted assassination again. As we would all feel this way, by the way, we would all feel exactly the same way if we were escaping a situation like that. Will Trump show up at the debate? He needs money. So if anything's going to get him to debate, it's anything that's going to bring money into the GOP. There's Kamala. Hopes and fears, winning back his people. They're writing speeches for him. They've got this mastery over him. I think it's a performance issue after the attempted assassination was a big part of. He lost his confidence after that. I don't think people realize what that did to him. I worry about his heart health. You can see all this energy going out, but look at his opposition. I worry about his heart health. I keep getting that. Hopes and fears that it's over, and a heavy load. He makes life very difficult for his handlers. If he shows up, it's because of pressure from the GOP and because he needs to raise money for the GOP. No, Tulsi Gabbard will not take Trump's place. I don't even know what they would do. It's usually J.D. Vance, but people hate J.D. Vance. I mean, he got booed. Every time he shows up, he gets booed. I mean, so I don't even know. I love this. I had a friend on Ambien, and in the middle of the night, she completely covered her dog with Vaseline so the fleas would slide right off. That might make sense, but did the dog even have fleas? I mean, you could cover it so that and then you could brush. It might work. Oh, a fairy house. Ooh, I'd love to have a fairy house, but I'm a little frightened of the fairies because I've heard that they can do, according to Matthew Wood, you can get yourself into some trouble playing with the fairies. It's hard to get away from them once they take over, and then you wind up in fairy time, and it's hard to get out of there. So I don't know. We love our fairies, but we don't necessarily want to go play with them. All right, here's something that's been coming up a lot. It has to do with when we had remote viewed the future of Russia, we saw NATO marching on Moscow. It's not something that I'm happy about because, to get it to this point, it would mean that we feel there's a threat of nuclear war. The the fact that he was threatening the West, etc. But let's take a look. I think it's probably going to happen. They're striking distance now of Moscow and probably preparing to hit Moscow. I'm not happy about it. Obviously, we don't want innocent people dying in Moscow. Let's take a look. Moscow, Ukraine. Yeah. The whole situation changed on its head, and Ukraine is now trapping them in the east. They can't get out. Where they're taking the east, go ahead and take the east. You're not going to be able to get out because we're going to circle you and trap you, which is the lasso technique we had talked about. I don't like this. How can we be happy about this? Wish. Lasso. Anybody surprised? Upset? I'm upset. Ukraine wins. Yes. They trapped them so they couldn't get out, and then held them there so they couldn't even return back, and they became prisoners. And look at the business over them. Look at their opposition, completely confused. They're running in circles. They're given an opportunity by Zelensky to go back probably after the deal is made. But addiction. What do we learn from Putin and from all these guys that are megalomaniacs, etc.? They're all on prescription drugs. They're not in their right minds. They're just not in their right minds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish because we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to call it a day. Like I said, I do have some openings tomorrow, and I do have openings. Oh, tomorrow's Friday, that's right. And 6 o'clock, we have class. Please come. We're finishing up the Mystical Tarot. I think it's going to be a great class. Then we have a couple weeks off, but I will be doing videos, and I will be working in Ireland. So if you need to have a Wizio, if you need to have me do a pre-taped reading for you, I think they cost $30 or something. It's one question. Don't give me a million questions, all right? One question. That information is below the Wizio. And if you want to come in for a Booksy to see me as a medical intuitive physician or to get a tarot reading or remote viewing, that information can be booked through Booksy. Well, this was fun. We're leaving the time of Kali, and we're entering the time of Kamala, right? Okay, everybody. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. All that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.